Scottish Premiership Playoffs Final. St Mirren versus Partick Thistle.
There you go. I don't need to tell you the final score tonight. You can just look at Robbie's cheesy face, and you can see that St Mirren is staying up for another season. And was it now 6-time Partick Thistle has been at the playoffs and failed to make the big step. There you go, Robbie. How are you? I've made a banner especially for you. Joined tonight by Alex, Reagan, and Robbie, I think. It's not Robbie Rants tonight, it's Robbie Happy Boy, I think we're going to call him. Robbie, how are you? Robbie's just back from the game.
So it was... Hello? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Reagan, what happened to you? I thought this was the year of Partick Thistle. I thought this was Mark Wilson's boys getting ready to make a step up to the big boy league.
Next year, Robbie.
No, look, congratulations to us. Obviously, we deserved it. I thought first half, to be honest with you, we were really poor in certain times of the game. I thought he would actually made changes at half time, but he stuck the same team out for the second half, and I was a bit shocked. But we really bedded into the game, got the goal when we needed it, and also commiserations to Partick Thistle, who, again, as Michael mentioned, 6 times now they've tried to get up through the playoffs, and they've still not quite managed to make it. It's a sale one for Matt Wilson, but what a sensational job Thistle done, Mike. I'm sure you spoke to the Partick Thistle podcaster last week before the first leg, and he was saying, they were projected to finish 7th or 8th. So the fact they even made it in the playoffs was superb, but just outdone by the big boys this time. I'm afraid they can try again next year.
Reagan, I'll let you come back to that because obviously you've been following Thistle this season.
Mike, first half, Partick Thistle played well, but second half, St Mirren done really well. So I don't think you can really be any complaints.
I think, Alex, that was your ultimate game of 2 halves.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. I mean, firstly, it wasn't a footballing masterclass from any side. When you don't have a horse in the race, it is sometimes difficult to watch games like that. But St Mirren got the job done. They, like Lord Robbie said, they got the goal when they needed it. I think especially in the first half, it wasn't great football, but Partick Thistle were a bit better. St Mirren looked slow on the ball. Although I don't really think Partick Thistle really threatened that much. They were just kind of, I don't know how many times it was just lumped up to Samuel to see if he could do something. But St Mirren sort of dealt with it. They didn't really do much, but they came out much better in the second half and got the deserved win, and they will be a Scottish Premiership side for the foreseeable. So fair play to the buddies. Really nice moment at the end there as well. Marcus Fraser jumping into the crowd to be with his boy, and yeah, just it's the stark contrast that when it's these games, you see all the players so happy staying up, and then you see the other side of it. So it is interesting to see that as well.
Yeah, no, definitely it was a nice moment for his family as well, Robbie. But I mean, what was the atmosphere like in the stadium? Because it felt like on the TV.
It was electric even before the telly coverage started, which I believe was at 7:30. Even when I think I got into the stadium about 7:15, and the Thistle fans were absolutely jumping for literally about 7 o'clock to the end final whistle. Their fans never stopped, as the big Ange used to say. But I think we were fans. It started off, we were so energetic, it kind of got a wee bit toxic towards the end of the first half. I think a lot of fans were giving criticism to Marcus Fraser, especially. He was one that was getting a lot of criticism after fans, especially Maston. So it was nice to see him come out and put the second half performance he put in, because I thought he was actually very good in the second half. And I always feel bad for players like that, because he is a type of player that will take a lot of the brunt and a lot of the sort of criticism when things aren't going well. But I thought equal in the first half. I thought Gogic was actually just as poor, trying to play it for the back, and he summed it.
Gogic was shocking. Honestly, he was so poor in the first half. I thought he was so lackadaisical on the ball, just giving everything up. He didn't seem his usual self. He didn't seem he'd adjusted to the pace of the game. He did improve, but I'd agree with that. It was a poor first half from Alex Gorbich.
Aye, and I think it sort of set tempo for the team selection. I really thought Craig McLeish would have started rolling the doorway after the first leg on Thursday. He obviously chose not to. He obviously dropped his captain, Mark O'Hara, as well. Big decision in such a big game to drop your captain, but it was just such a poor first half. But for the same team to come out in the second half and sort of right the wrongs in that sort of sense and go out and put on that second half performance and grab a goal at a time where, I'm going to be honest, I thought it was heading for extra time just before we scored. I didn't think there was too much in it. Of course, Thistle get the 2 free kicks. The first one, what a save for Ross Sinclair. I really did think it was going top left. And then the free kick at the end, which obviously hit off the wall. I was just so happy to get that cleared. But no, look, yeah, I feel at times you can't celebrate this as a massive achievement. Aye, it's brilliant we're staying up, but we finished second bottom of the Premiership. You know, we need to remember that going into next season. We can't be in this position again. You're not going to get away with it so many times. That's against Dundee United and Partick Thistle now. We've managed to avoid the drop. Now we need to make sure we're staying up properly this time.
Alex, I did make this point on the last show. I can't remember if I mentioned it on the pre-show or after the game, or maybe to Dave, the Partick Thistle fan. But do you think like Partick Thistle has been spooked by being in the playoff 16th now going into next season if they make it? But also that kind of like defeat from Ross County a few years ago, because I don't know if you remember the first game, guys, at Fair Hill. That was before Reagan was a Partick Thistle fan, right now.
No, I was a fan back then, right? Go ahead.
Yeah. But I mean, Thistle should have been like 3 or 4-0 up in the first leg, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, Partick Thistle, like we've already mentioned, have failed so many times. It seems to be, the story of the club in recent years, unfortunately. And I think it's interesting because I think tonight it maybe showed why they couldn't properly. They ran St Johnstone close a lot of the season, but why they couldn't get over the hump. They dropped points at crucial games. They lost crucial games, within the title race this season, and they've not managed to capitalise on a good performance in the first leg, and they've come to St Mirren Park and didn't manage to capitalise on a poor first half performance from St Mirren. It seems like they've lacked that killer instinct for the majority of the campaign, and yeah, it will be hugely disappointing. What I will say though is I don't think it's all doom and gloom, because although Livingston have been really active in the transfer market, I don't know if you've seen they've been signing everybody. I think if Partick Thistle have a good window this summer, they could be back up competing at the top end of the championship, possibly going for the title, because I don't think this Livingston side are as good as the St Johnstone side that have come up. I think obviously it will hurt tonight for Thistle. All the fans, they'll be hurting. Really, really disappointing not to come up, but they just need to look to the future and possibly, if they can get over that hump, if they can win those crucial games at those crucial points in the season, they could come up automatically next campaign.
Alex hit the absolute nail on the head there by saying they don't have the killer instinct. I mean, Reagan, was it you that booked Alex Samuel and Tony Watt onto Olympic diving lessons? Because my God, every time the ball went long up to them, they just went onto the flare every time. I mean, that's not even me trying to be the St Mirren fan saying that. I'm being, and for a neutral point of view, I don't know what it was like for you guys watching it, but Samuel especially, every single time he gets the ball to his feet, he just goes down all the time. I'm like, we've got to start moving that about. I thought that Partick Thistle have really good midfield, explosive, fast players, and they just never really took advantage of any of them, to be honest. And when Litsosa came on, I thought he was going to be the sort of danger man for Thistle. I've liked him for probably the cup game, to be honest with you. Been sort of keeping an eye on him, and I think he's a very technical player. But Partick decided to try and go long all night, Reagan, and it just didn't really work.
No, it didn't work. Yeah, I was a bit ashamed, to be honest, Robbie, but I'm glad for you.
You
Thank
sold
you.
it, mate. You sold absolutely amazing.
And you get in, but Reagan, this is where like we talk about the levels of the division, right? And I thought and Robbie was at the game, so he'll have a better idea of it. We were only watching it on the TV, but I thought like in the first half, Thistle looked good from
And they played well.
middle to, I was going to say middle to front, but they didn't have that killer kind of like instinct as well. And I think that's where you might see St. Johnson struggling that season, Reagan, because obviously they're playing a kind of level down. Partick was playing a Premier League team that's been there for years. Seen it, got the t-shirt, got Robbie's big cheesy smile there. But I think that's the difference for me. I don't know if you would agree, Reagan, that they're just missing something kind of like killer touch in the box.
I think that's what Mark Wilson will be looking for in the transfer window. I think he'll obviously keep Tony Watt and Samuel, but I think he'll be looking for that kind of creative kind of number 10 that can really do well, because I like Chalmers, but Chalmers is not somebody that's going to score you 20 goals or put in that deadly ball. Chalmers is somebody that's he'll do something special, but then he'll go and he'll not be there for the next 5 matches. So I think Partick Thistle just need someone that can really make them more of a threat, because I think like Robbie was saying there, I think Samuel and Tony Watt are a very good front pairing, but I think if you don't get up to them and they don't score, then I think it's very hard. Obviously, Fitzpatrick's probably done really well this season, but I think Partick Thistle do need more of the top end of the pitch.
And
Yeah,
by the way, just on
Oh, sorry. I've just to build off that. I think I've got quite an interesting shout. Maybe not a number 10, but he's a former player at the club, and he's
On you go.
he's barely played at Kelly this season. Do you think they could try and get Scott Tiffany back to Partick Thistle? You know, I think that would be a great. I think that would be a great signing.
We've got Tiffany, she said, I think. We've got Tiffany.
Do you know the songs as well, Alec?
I thought it would have been me doing karaoke on this show, no Reagan. Just on what Alex said. Just on what Alex said there, though, and I think building on that, nothing can, and what Alex said earlier, nothing can hurt Mark Wilson, especially having another season in the Championship. It can, because if he gets up with that Thistle team and gets them relegated straight away, then it's going to hurt him more than if he spends another season down there. I think it's good for him as a younger coach to build on that. He can right the wrongs of what he has done this season, try and get... I think he needs to improve that style, because too many times they're going long up the pitch when realistically they play it along the ground and they get it moving and they actually look all right. At times there were so many opportunities I thought they could have played it out to either winger and they just didn't quite do it. So I think it's a learning curve. It's a learning curve for Matt Wilson next season, especially.
I do agree with Alex. I think the Championship will be weaker next season. I think that obviously St Johnstone they were kind of great, right? But I think if you look at the overall Championship next season, I think it's weaker. But I think that's good for Partick Thistle.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this, the one, because like we said, St Johnstone were really good, and I think we all like Simo Valakari and his style of football and what he brings. The players they had are just, I mean, you look at Josh McPake, how good he's been. Obviously, the Jamestown analytics have been looking at him, and side that finished second in the league have decided to bring him in. So I don't think Livingston, with their sort of scattergun approach, get everyone who's run out of a contract into the club will be anywhere near as good as St Johnstone were. So I think there's definitely an opportunity for Thistle if they manage to have a good window.
Livy really are playing the lower league football manager, just saying anybody that springs to mind that you see in the contract list and just offer them as little money as possible.
I think they watched. I think whoever their scouts are were watching the National League playoff final and just thought, "Oh, that guy for York looks all right." So, you know what I mean? They won the league. My apologies. They were watching the last day of the season. They're like, "Oh, yeah, that guy for York City looks all right." Like that man. You know,
it's funny you say that because I actually seen, was it Aberdeen or rumoured signing a centre half for York? I think it might be.
There's a few York City players that I've seen rumoured going to Scotland. Hearts.
Striker, that is it Walcott?
Yeah, Fagan Walcott. Apparently, £750,000 they're paying for him, which is a big fee from a guy who's just come up from the National League. But you know. Hearts have shown they know what they're doing, and they definitely need a striker now. Just want to get that wee jab out there.
Oh, come on, Alex, come on.
But just to sort of ask you a question on the flip side, I know we've spent a lot of time talking about Thistle, but in terms of us for next season, you're now looking at a team that's totally going to be changed. Like first game of the season next year, the starting 11 is going to look so different. I think we've got 11 players out of contract / loans ending. For what I'm led to believe, we're also going to have a new manager in the dugout. I don't imagine Craig McLeish is going to stay on for all that. I'm happy that he's kept us up. I don't think he's the man probably to guide us through the Premiership next season. So, I mean, what do you guys think for us at my point of view? Because although, like we've spoke about, and Regan, I think you said that the Championship's going to be slightly weaker and it will play into Partick's favour. I actually think the Premiership's gotten stronger, adding St Johnstone instead of Livingston next season. So, I mean, what are you thinking for sort of my perspective? What are you thinking for us?
I think you just need to get your recruitment right, Robbie. Maybe you need to go to York City, but no. I think in general, I think if somebody can keep some of the players like Mark O'Hara and people like that off the Marcus Fraser, people. I don't know what the contract situation is with obviously Gogic as well, Robbie. Is Gogic a long-term deal? Or?
Gogic will stay on to the end of 2027, I believe. Mark O'Hara runs it at the end of this season, which I don't imagine he's going to stay on, to be honest with you. But I'm just actually trying to get the list so I have everybody in front of me. It's a hard list to keep track of when there's so many of them running out of contract.
Smith, that's on loan from Partick Thistle.
Aye.
He could definitely play for St Mirren next season. I
liked Ocean Smith at his brief spell at a club.
Really
I thought
good.
he was alright, to be honest with you. I'm very excited about the prospect of maybe Fraser Taylor breaking into the St Mirren team next season.
I think that's a good player as well. He's a bit tricky.
Aye, he's a very tricky player. But that's what I think we need. I mean, you look at Roland Adobu and the impact he had on Thursday in the first leg. I thought the guys that pick up the ball and actually take people on and get the just rewards for it. I think Adobu maybe does it a bit too much at times, but you know, it's healthy to have that sort of guy that will pick up the ball and not be scared to take people on. Because I thought as equal as Partick Thistle kept getting direct and kept going up the pitch, I thought we done it just as much as well. The only difference is we use Mandron, who can be a bit more critical with the ball at his feet and knows to bring it round and turn and stuff like that. So I think that was probably the difference in the game. And again, look, it's learning curves for Partick Thistle. They will, I believe, be in a Premiership team soon because they've got too good a squad not to be. And I think if you build on it correct, they will come up at some point.
Yeah, see what you were just talking about there about Mandron, you know, using his skills to his advantage. Am I talking at my backside, or does Alex Samuel do the exact opposite of what he seems he would be good at? If you know what I mean. You know, he's quite quick, but he's clearly like strong. He's you know, he seemed like he was really against taking the ball in at his feet. I mean, you know, Chris Sutton even identified it a few times. He'd either try to, like Robbie said, he'd either like fall over or he'd try to ship it off really quickly and it wouldn't come to anything, because I mean there was one actually where he dropped deep to receive the ball, and he just like scuffed it. He was trying to do like a weird round the corner pass when he had time to turn and do something, and he just like scuffed it back. And then he had a Thistle player running backwards to receive the ball, and I'm thinking, mate, you've got time there. Look over your shoulder. If there's someone at your back, you're a strong guy. You don't need to fall over every time as well. I mean, I like Alex Samuel. Obviously, he played a big part in keeping Thistle down a few years ago as well with Ross County. But yeah, I just thought he was doing everything that didn't seem to be to play to his like physical attributes as a player. It was weird.
I think if Samuel played the way Mandron does, I think we're probably in extra time now, to be honest with you, and gone towards penalties, because I just think that's the type of player Samuel is. He can be good. He almost lets himself down with the way he plays. He does play like Marcus Fraser, and I don't know if you guys notice it. I've noticed it all season. Fraser loves to buy a cheap foul and shout loud when he goes down for it, and he wins it every single time because he knows he's going to get it after a ref. It feels like Samuel tries that in areas he shouldn't try it, and that's probably his biggest weak point. He tries too much to win fouls, when if he just gets the ball and plays football, he might actually he might create goals for Thistle. And I think that probably sums up Tony Watt's game as well, to be honest, this season. I've not watched him as much as Reagan has, but I thought of the last two legs, he was exactly like Samuel. I thought every time he got the ball, he was trying to win fouls, and it's just not the way you want to play in a big game like this. You can't do that. But I just checked, it is 11 players out of contract for us. 3 loans, Ateti, Shamal George and Jacob Devaney will be leaving to go back to their respective clubs. I actually think Shamal George is becoming a free agent, so he'll probably move somewhere. But the sort of big hitters that are out of contract: Mark O'Hara, Alan Campbell, Dan Lundaloo, Jonah Ayunga, Scott Tanzer, Mandron, McMenamin and Petr Rominski are our players out of contract. So it's going to be a completely new cut at my team.
How many of those would you want to keep on? Sorry, Michael, I'm just asking.
If I had to pick, I love Mandron to probably stay on another year, although I heard he was linked with the Middle East and Israel, so I think he's probably going to end up going there. I don't know if Kenny Miller's team was looking at him. I know he's managing earlier than now, so I'm not sure if he's maybe taking a look. But I love Alan Campbell to stay on. I didn't think he had his best game tonight, to be honest. I thought he was a pretty poor, but I think he is a good midfielder. Then the dream would be to have Mark O'Hara stay on another year, but I think I can only see him heading Wawa, and it's up north to Stephen Robinson. So I think he probably will be up there to come next season.
Yeah. I basically said that weeks ago, Robbie, before St Mirren was in this position, because if you look at Mark O'Hara's career, he's basically followed Stephen Robertson about. Like when Robertson brought him into Motherwell and then St Mirren, and as you say, Aberdeen. But I was just going to ask you, Robbie, as well, do you think it's a good thing? Obviously, it's a bit of a stupid question. Yeah, I guess a St Mirren fan, right? But do you think it's a good thing that St Mirren skeg up, because then players would fight for the future, especially if you've got a new manager? But compare that with if you get relegated tonight. I think half of that St Mirren team would go up north to join maybe Mark O'Hara at Aberdeen, because, I mean, if you look at Robertson, he brought half of the Motherwell team to St Mirren.
It did. What a time to be alive that was, having half Motherwell's B team starting for us. But no, look, a lot of players, and I will say this, and I'll give credit to guys like Scott Tanzer and all the rest. A lot of players did look like they chucked it weeks before the playoffs, and I came on here and said that there was players that were walking around the pitch and looked like they didn't care. I'm so happy that they put in that last wee bit of effort and managed to get that scrappy goal. And anyway, I mean, I've not seen the replay. I don't know how close it was to being offside. They checked it for what felt like hours inside the stadium. But no, I think you're right, Michael. Now is the time for change. Now's the time to transition. We're going to get a new manager. I'm hoping we have a new manager before the start of it. Reagan.
See, in Sky, I didn't really show you the players celebrating with the manager as well after the game.
No, they kind of ran out of the fans. I know obviously Fraser and Gogic ran out of Maston, and obviously you get the nice moment with Marcus Fraser and his children and family, which was so nice for him, because again, he's one of the biggest guys that get criticised after stands. So it was a lovely moment for him. Gogic celebrating as usual. The one that hit a hard the most, I think, though, was Jacob Devaney, and he was so passionate during the game, trying to rile the crowd up, trying to get them going. Just at the end, celebrating, just knowing that we're not going to see him again. And a Simmons shot was quite harsh, but it's such a good moment.
See the way you phrased that there, it sounded like he was passing away or something there. I was thinking, and then you said you were going to see him again, and I said that.
See that point that Reagan made about the manager not celebrating? Does that really go back to what you were saying a few weeks ago, Robbie, about like there was a kind of like divide in the kind of like dressing room?
I think so. I mean, look, I can still say it now because now we've stayed up, especially. McLeish should never have been put in that situation, and it was so harsh on the guy, especially the guy. He done his best, and absolute credit to him. He's kept us in the league. That was his goal when he came in, ultimately, because I think at heart we all knew we were heading for the playoffs after that Celtic game. It was no surprise. But just to get that final push through and stay up was exactly what we needed. It's no his time to be sitting on manager. That's not to say probably couldn't develop in the next 5 to 10 years and come back and do it. But right now, we need somebody experienced. And I said to my dad before the game, I said, if we stay up, I want John Needham to get on the phone to Neil Lennon tonight and just talk. Just tell him what would it take to get you to St Mirren, because I would love to have a character like Neil Lennon managing us next season. So I don't know who it's going to be, but I'd love it to be Neil.
Do you think Neil Lennon would leave the players, Robbie? Because I don't think he would leave the players. I
think they'd be paying him a bit too much to what we'd want to pay him, to be honest with you. But the only thing, I mean, my Premiership, that's my big selling point in there. I'd say, listen, let's be honest, how many years does Neil have left in proper management before he starts?
Do you think he cares about that at this point? No,
probably not.
He's been there and done it.
Nah, probably not.
Trophies with Celtic.
It's mere faith in my part and hope that it comes. But I'd love Neil Lennon to be number one target. I don't know who we're going to go for. I hope it's no Marvin Bartley or Scott Brown, to be honest with you, but I will just
Marvin Bartley.
Marvin Bartley's white armour. Aye.
Well, if you get Marvin Bartley, you might get more games on Sky, Robbie.
I don't know if you heard
that was a joke. I love the guy. He did a brilliant job. No.
I don't know if you've heard the interview on Sky, Robbie, but the manager says that he's up for doing the job next season.
Nope. I'm sorry to Craig McLeish. I really am, and I don't know what you guys think of this from outsider perspectives. I don't think Craig McLeish can be managing us in the Premiership, to be honest with you.
No, I think I'd agree with you, mate. He's when he started, and the form seemed to turn really quickly. You're thinking, oh, is there something here? But then it turns out maybe it was just a bit of a new manager bounce. I think just some of the performances. I mean, losing to already relegated Livingston side when you're trying to fight for your survival was so poor. And
3-0 to your relegation candidates Kilmarnock at home as well.
Exactly. So you saw like the stark contrast between you and Kilmarnock as well. Kilmarnock stormed through the split, absolutely, and they look like they could be onto something next season. Tyrese John-Jules hopefully coming back fit. Him and Joe Hugo, that's an exciting pairing. But no, I think he had his good moments, Craig McLeish, but I definitely, if I was a St Mirren fan, I would not want him in charge next campaign. I would want
go for Jens, man. Go down the Jens route. Just go and pick somebody out of a tree and just go, you know what, you've got a creative style of play, why not go for it? But no, honestly, if I was, and it's probably a good idea that I'm not in charge of the club, but if I was, I'd be on the phone to Neil Lennon tonight, to be honest with you, try to convince him, because I think that guy's got what it takes, and I think with a summer with Neil Lennon in charge, I think we'd be back up pushing that top six. And by the way,
what about Pep? He's just left City.
You know what? I think Pep's made enough money that he might just fancy a wee trip to Paisley. But see, the thing is, I forgot what I was going to say there. It doesn't matter who we get. It needs to be a big window, because I tell you, I think it was Reagan that said it earlier. And I don't agree with him. I don't know if it was Alex. I don't think St Johnstone are going to have a bad year next year. I think St Johnstone are going to be flying, to be honest with you. I think Valakari's built such
Yeah,
a good team.
I think that was maybe Michael or something. I think.
Was it Michael?
Really good.
I think St John's will be a brilliant team to watch next year. So I honestly see, when you're looking at the league table that's confirmed for next season, there's no a favourite to finish bottom. There really isn't. Every team's up for contention to be high up the league. Don't. It all depends. It all depends what summer we have and who we stick with. I mean, the board could come out next week and go, you know what, we're going to give Craig McLeish the season. Then I'd probably agree with you, to be honest with you. But if we get a good manager in, then you know it completely changes the season. And that there really isn't a favourite to finish bottom right now. It's so going to be such a good season next year.
I know Alex could blame me, but I don't think I said that. And
You said something along those lines, like the levels.
Well, maybe I did. It's too hot. By the way, it's going to my baldy nap, as they say. But Robbie, I still stick by okay, maybe I'm backtracking there, but if Simo Valakari came in early on, I think St Mirren would. I think St John's wouldn't be in the championship.
I love Simo Valakari at St Mirren. No, I agree with you. Simo, what a fantastic manager, man. I think he is one that you could take a lot of lessons off and learn a lot from. He seems like such a lovely character as well. And in the interviews you listen to him, it's like we've got a really interesting league next year, and I'm excited to watch St Johnstone especially. It's going to be so interesting if we did our season predictions at the start with what everybody picks, because after the summer, I mean, who knows what's going to be happening? There's so many loans at different clubs. I'm sure Dundee have got a lot of players out of contract or loans expiring as well. You know, you're looking at the likes of Dundee United that can they build on what they've considered a few decent seasons. You know, the big one you're looking at is Motherwell. How are they going to adapt to losing Jens? Probably losing Maspanish and Elijah Just as well. And Elliot Watt, who I believe has been linked with Alex's Rangers as of recent. So I don't know if he's maybe going to end up there. So it's going to be an interesting window.
Robbie,
I read a report that Elliot Watt was linked with Rangers. I don't know if there was anything in that.
Right. Oh yeah, I saw that. We've been linked to every day under the sun.
Robbie,
Graham, James Penrice, Josh Windass, Lauren Shanklin, Kaiser Dewberry from Bolton. We've been linked to every day.
Robbie, see how in terms of, maybe this is a bit unfair for us to say it because we are not a St Mirren fan, right? But obviously you're celebrating and stuff like that, right? Because you're skin up. But I think you said something at the top of the show about St Mirren skin up, but it's kind of embarrassing how a club skin up, but they're still celebrating. I think they should be maybe embarrassed. I don't know how they got it.
Roy Keane style. When you're looking at the Villa players in the dressing room, fuming. Just going this. What are they doing?
I think embarrassing is probably too strong a word. I'm definitely not celebrating. That's not what I don't want it to seem like I'm coming on here and being pure excited that we're staying up. I know you were. Spurs get lucky to stay up, I know. But yes, he's a big Spurs fan.
Oh, Reagan, you've gone even further down in my estimation.
Alex, he wasn't even halfway up in the line. It's all right.
Aye, Mike, I'm definitely no celebrating that 100% no. I said that to my dad on the way back. I was like, look, that's not something to be proud of. It's good that we stayed up. I'm very happy, but it's not an achievement finishing second bottom in the Premiership. It's really not. It's something that we can't afford to do again, because next season we could finish bottom. There's nothing to say we can't finish bottom of the league next year. But right now, with the players that are running out of contract and the way the club's gone, we're all looking like the worst team in the league on paper. So, you know, there's going to need to be a lot of change to sort of swing that confidence. But we are going into a new era, if you like, at St Mirren next season with a new manager, fresh faces, looking at trying to have probably a better season than this one, although you're probably not going to top it with a cup win, to be honest with you. So the next manager, as long as they can guide us away for that 11th spot, then you know what, that's a season pretty happy for me.
I've got a manager for you. The manager go from Lope and Nancy, deliver the trophy for St Mirren.
Tiki Taka, Miguel
back.
Freckle and wing back Trevellas all night. Aye, I couldn't wait to watch a bit of Nancy Ball. How about we hook up Wilfred Nancy and Russell Martin and we'll bring them in as a partnership and just see how they get on together. Who knows, mate? 2 wrongs make a right. Well, let's see what happens.
I mean, I think
that would be on the equivalent of some sort of like top level natural disaster or something.
I mean, I think it's got a good sale from the manager, because obviously you can say, well, we can qualify for the top 6 when we can get into Europe and we're just 5 minutes from the airport.
Exactly.
Aye, bring back a European
If
away
you don't
days.
like
I missed
I
them.
said, see if it doesn't work, they can just go straight to the airport, so it's fine.
It's just so. I really don't know how to feel, because obviously I feel such relief that we're actually staying up and we're going to be playing Premiership football next season. But you just can't help but feel you're wandering into a land of the unknown, and that's the sort of scary thing. Whereas you look at youth, and I suppose Celtic, in some sort of regard, are feeling the same, Reagan, where you don't really know who's in your dugout next season, so you don't really know what your recruitment is going to be like. So there's so many different questions that are going to be asked. Although for Celtic's case, you're probably going to go and sign a Premier League player that's getting to the end of his career and slap him in midfield or something like that. I think that's what Celtic like to do these days. But see, when you're just stepping into the land of the unknown with managers, it's so interesting.
Celtic's number 1 target should be Elijah Just. What a player he is. He should be Celtic's
He's
number
too-
1 target. Number 1 target.
I'm telling you right now, he's far too good for Scotland. He's miles above Scotland. I could tell you right now that guy could go into a Premier League team. He could go into a Premier League team. I'm telling you,
Scotland, Robbie.
he is miles above Scotland. He could play in an English Premier League team tomorrow. I'm telling you, you put him into a mid-table Prem team, and he looks good.
Fair enough.
100%. I think Elijah Just, I think he's fantastic.
Premier League.
Aye, I'm telling you, that boy could play in the Premier League. Watch him at the World Cup. I'm telling you, he's going to light it up at the World Cup as well.
You nip into the pub before you came on the show.
Listen, that might be one of the hot takes, but seriously, watch him at the World Cup. I guarantee you he's going to do well there as well.
Like, definitely. He's a good player.
Oh, he's a cracking player.
No, he's very good, and another one
And by the way,
linked with.
and by the way, I think, Alex, just in what you said, I think Rangers and Celtic should be flinging the hat out, trying to get him now.
I mean, he's definitely better than that waste of space Scott Morrison. So,
I mean, Ethan's dead, Polly. Alex, good evening, everyone. It's like, if people go, all right, mate, Ethan, he gave me both. You know, kind of like, cool.
By the way, I found it sort of interesting tonight what Ethan was commenting on and full commiserations to Mark Wilson, but I can't help but laugh at Alex Ray, who, by the way, Alex Ray was actually wearing these in the dugout, these Raycon earbuds that by the way, if Raycon want to sponsor us, feel free, but I found that he was sitting in the dugout wearing a pair of these because I clocked him on the side of his ear and I was like, I wonder who's talking to him through them. That was quite interesting, but I hope Alex Ray is having a lovely night.
Yeah, well, I think it's safe to say that Partick Thistle didn't pull a Southampton and have spies on the training ground. But can you believe all that? How mad is that?
No.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Have you seen some of the quotes coming out as well? It's brilliant. There was an interview with Flynn Downs in December, and he was talking about how good the manager was. He said his attention to detail is amazing. It's almost as if he knows what the other team's going to do.
Aye, because he's fine.
4 times, man. How 4 times and you lose 3 of them? Like, how is that possible?
So, Regan, where does Partick Thistle go from here? And don't say on holiday, because that's all.
League One. League One.
They go to Barcelona for the holiday, then they come back. Then they go to Maryhill for some training. No, I think Partick Thistle are in a good space, Michael, to be honest with you.
Can I just say, by the way, one thing that should come away for this playoff, by the way, because it was the most dreadful two-legged playoff I think I've ever watched in Scotland. If there's one thing that should go away for this,
Oh, you've
make it
clearly
one
never
leg,
watched the Hamilton playoff, mate. My word.
make it one leg, and make it at a neutral venue. Please
That's
get rid of this two-legged
I
playoff.
agree.
It is horrible.
No,
Agree.
that's what I've been saying for weeks. And to be fair, I mean, Robert, you might bite my head off here, mate, right? And I think you do anyway. But like, so Partick, Thistle, and St Mirren, like, hasn't got the fan base that say like Celtic and Rangers and maybe Hearts and Aberdeen, right? So instead of playing at Hampden, why not just play it at Fir Park as a one-off game?
No, because you sound like every other fan when St Mirren and Motherwell go to that semi-final back in the League Cup. It was, why don't we play at Easter Road? No, because the fans have earned that right to play at Hampden. And by the way, see, if you're going to bring in a new rule where it is one leg and you do want to make it not Hampden, then I'm fine with it. But if you're going to make it Hampden one season, you've got to stick with that. And
We'll just
I don't.
make it Murrayfield.
I make it Murrayfield, why not? Why, we'll have it at Dumbarton's Stadium because they have a big rock behind their stadium and it's nice to look at and it'll be good for the telly and all that snaz. But
Ethan will just pop down and watch the games as well.
But no, I think, Michael, you're right in a sense. If we are going to bring in a new playoff system, which I don't believe the SFA are, by the way, I think they will keep it too. If we are going to bring in something new, then make it a different stadium. Don't just put it at Hampden. But I think they probably would if they were going to bring it in. They probably would just put it at Hampden because it's the easier choice.
Yeah, the entire playoff system, and for that matter, the league system. I mean, David Martindale's been talking about it on the radio recently. It just needs all rehashed, like especially for clubs trying to come up from the Lowland and Highland League, try to get into the 42. It's just so weighted against them. Why should the team that finishes bottom of League Two have a chance to stay up? They shouldn't. They should just go down. And you know, and just the playoff systems. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, if Dunfermline had made it to this playoff final, they would have had to play six games and you know to make it up. It's absolutely it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And I think we need a bigger Scottish Premiership. We need a better playoff system. It's a big undertaking. It's not as if someone can just snap their fingers. You know, I can see that it will take a lot of work.
But then
the pyramid system in Scotland is flawed, and I think we need to change it.
You're saying it would take a lot of work. We should be starting it now, or we should have been starting it years ago. You know, it is going to be a lot of work. I don't think any fans saying, I don't think any fans saying, oh, it's going to be happening next season. No, I think we're all aware that it's going to take time, but they're not even starting it right now. They're not even starting the change, and that's the worrying thing. That when are they actually going to start trying to make change? Because I don't think it's going to be anytime soon.
I mean, but see when you look at it, guys, like we must be the only league in the whole wide world that plays a final over two legs. That's like saying the Arsenal fans on Saturday, by the way, if you win on Saturday, it's only the first leg. You still get the second leg to go in the Champions League final.
Yeah,
crazy.
it's absolutely right.
But look, it's nights like this where it suits a Premiership club because we've got the home leg, we've managed to get through it. So, you know, I think if you take it one leg and you look back at last week and the performance we put in, Thistle probably beat us, to be honest with you, and we're probably London. So it's you know, it's so it does really favour the Premiership club, and it has done for so many years, to the point where you actually feel bad for the club gone down. You know, I've seen so many dejected Thistle fans outside the stadium after the game, and honestly, there was actually there was a motor drove by and it was going, enjoy the Championship next year. I was like, oh, that is brutal, man. Because like, if we were on the other end of that, they would be getting it to us as well, and I know exactly how they felt. So, you've got to feel bad for the Thistle fans in that situation.
I know. I do think it's like, you know, it's brilliant how they've brought in the playoffs as well. Like Hamilton's been in it this season as well, Alex. But I mean, if we'd rather, you know, a one-off game, then I mean, look, I get it. Like a home leg and the two-legged fair up until maybe what you would say the quarterfinals, or maybe the semi-finals. and then for a final, it's just a winner takes all, because that would make it more exciting. And like if you were basing over tonight's game, the 2 legs tonight, so you say, I think Partick Thistle just edged it by. I know they get beat and all that kind of stuff, right? But if you look at the chances they've had it as well, like Partick Thistle had the best of the first half and first night, the best of the first half tonight, Robbie. I don't know if that's a fair comment that I'm making, but like, you know, I know it's a weird comment because St Mirren's skin up, but you get where I'm. Hopefully, you get where I'm going with that one.
They had the ball, but they never had any clear cut, and that neither team had barely any clear cut chances. To be honest, in the 2 legs, it was a really flat 2 legs at times. To be honest with you, but Mike, I notice you love using that ABBA lyric, don't you? The winner takes all. That's your prime time. That's your favourite saying. But I mean, look, look, Reagan's done. And by the way, he said as the season's now officially over, there's no more Scottish games to be played. Well done to Reagan, by the way, and the rest of you, because what a season it's been content-wise, and everybody, going to different games, interviewing people. I mean, Reagan, the sensational what you've done with Partick Thistle this season really put us on the map as a show. It's been sensational, and it is times that where you feel so bad because the club has built so towards that. We're listening to interviews for the players and manager every week who are so desperate to get up there and so desperate to get at the door. So congrats to everybody on this season because it's been such a big one for everybody involved.
Yeah, the interviews have been. I agree with that, and the stuff Reagan's done has been really, really good. And I've really enjoyed it.
I was just going to say, Alex, about Robbie wouldn't have said that. If St Mirren would get beat tonight. He's the only.
Do you think I'm sitting here if St Mirren get beat? No, but we can look back on what's been an unbelievable season. Like I know we're sort of heading to sort of wrap up point, but we're looking at one of the biggest and best seasons we've had yet in a good few years. It's been so challenging, every single position in the league table throughout the whole season. We've had, you could list every single big trouble we've had this season. We've had press conferences, Stephen Presley right at the start of the season. We've had a lot of trouble with Celtic. Look at everything that's happened with them this season. They still walk out cup double winners. You're looking at Rangers going through the Russell Martin period, ending up with Danny Rowe, who I actually quite like as a manager, to be honest with you.
And with James Tavernier stuff.
You look at the Tavernier stuff. You look at Hearts getting so close, but yet so far. You just
and by best player.
And by the way, congrats to the Hearts women's team who did actually win the Scottish Women's Premiership. Well done to
Rangers absolutely. Oh my god!
6-0, man! Wow.
I thought it would turn out. I thought Hearts would win, beat Hibs, and I thought Rangers would beat Glasgow City, and I thought, okay, Hearts will just win the league. No, Hibs won. But Rangers decided to lose 6-0.
Aye, so congrats to Eva Ola, who now will leave Hearts, I'm led to believe, and take up the next steps of her journey. Fair play to her. You've had FC Barcelona Jens Tiki Taka Motherwell ball come into play this season. That's been such a privilege to watch. You've honestly, you could go on for hours about everything that's happened in Scottish football this season, but what an absolute blast of a season. And then look, we're only away for 2 weeks until the World Cup's back soon, so we'll be, I'm sure we'll see the same amount of nonsense with Scotland.
And Scotland are going to win it, Robbie. Scotland are going to win it.
And my dreams, Scotland win it.
If Scotland win the World Cup, I don't think anyone will hear from me for at least a few months.
So that's a good place to end it, Robbie, as well. So St Mirren's staying up. So well done to Craig McCreath, John Needham, and all that and stuff like that. So thanks to everybody, the contributors this season. Thanks to Reagan. Thanks to Robbie. Thanks to Alex. Alex has been the handyman behind the scenes, making the Google graphics as well. I would like to say, I've done it all, but I'm a bit of a dinosaur when it comes to this kind of thing. So cheers for Alex. We'll be back on the 7th.
Thanks to you, Michael. Michael, thank you to you. You made this show happen. You brought us all together. A huge amount of credit needs to go to you as well.
Well done, Michael.
Yeah, and look, hey, anyway, we'll be back on the 11th. But thanks guys to everybody that's contributed this season, and okay, cool. Well, I'll leave it there. I was just going to say something, but I can't. So yeah, we'll be back on the 11th of June for the World Cup preview, for the Scotland games and all that kind of stuff. And thanks for watching. And before I go, by the way, there we go. Subscribe to the channel. There you go. Scottish Football Zone. You know what to do. And we will be back soon on the channel on the Scottish Football Zone. So once again, thanks to the guys for helping us out tonight and helping us throughout the season. I couldn't do it without the team as well. So so thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.
Scottish Premiership Playoffs Final. St Mirren versus Partick Thistle.